Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Depth did not change, so that's good. And from an injury standpoint, we got bumps and bruises like everybody does, but they're manageable and expect everybody to play. Morgan Stewart is still out. Hopefully he's going to do a little bit more running this week and kind of see where that goes. So we'll see what happens there. Vanderbilt, like every team in the SEC, is a good football team, and so our focus is on ourselves and playing well, and we're just looking forward to 3 o'clock for the Vanderbilt game, and we want to play our best. So we're going to work real hard this week and continue to try to get better. And it's homecoming, and excited for our fans to be back in the zoo.
With the offense's struggles past few games, do you as coaches change your approach?
Anytime you have problems on offense or defense, what you do is you work hard, teaching, coaching, players work hard. You obviously strategy is important too. It always is. Doesn't matter, and we'll continue to do that to make ourselves better.
You said that you were really conservative against Florida. Do you think that approach could work since the defense is playing so well?
Sitting there at 42-0 at 5 minutes left in the third quarter, kind of presented a very unusual situation. The offense was on the field one series in that whole quarter till it finished the quarter with, I think, 3 plays. And it's the good news, bad news. The good news is when you recover a fumble for a touchdown, when you have a punt return for a touchdown, you have an interception for a touchdown, and all those scenarios, the defense goes right back on the field. And so I think we've done it a little bit different last couple of years. I think in the fourth quarter we have in trying to end football games and getting going to a little bit more conservative approach. But I just thought it was the right thing to do at the right time and try to get the game over with, and I think overall it worked.
Did you see things in the first half that encouraged you offensively?
Yeah, we're working real hard to improve our offense. So that's what we're doing. Working real hard. Yeah.
Vanderbilt struggled a little bit defensively. Is it important to try to get something established this week?
Vanderbilt's a good football team. It's important to get something established every week. Okay, so there's nothing magical here. I've been here before, and you keep working hard, and you stay positive, and I think we'll do okay.
Is there a reason that Eddie Prince hasn't gotten many snaps even in these blowout games?
No.
What kind of progress have you seen from Maddie as far as staying in the pocket?
I thought he did pretty good, better.
Coach, having to face 2 different quarterbacks last week against Florida, how is that going to help you guys prepare for this week where you're in a similar situation? Yeah,
they've had some quarterback injuries and such, and so we're not really sure what's going to happen there. You just got to be prepared for everything. What you do is you go look at any time a quarterback's played, you look at the plays that he's run, compare that to another quarterback, and then if there are adjustments you should make, you'd make them, and if not, you don't. So that's something that Coach Steckel and the defensive staff will do.
Obviously you guys sitting at 5-2, a win gets you bowl eligible. Is that something you talk to the guys about? Is that a carrot kind of hanging out there that?
I don't ever talk about that. This is important games because it's the next game. We need to win 2 games in a row, get some momentum going. And so it's the next game at 3 o'clock on Saturday. It's the next game. So we got to play. We got to play well. That's all I care about is us playing well, and that's your best shot at winning a football game. And I don't care who we're playing. It doesn't matter if it's Vanderbilt or who. It's the same thing.
I know the circumstances were a little bit unusual in the second half, but you guys ran Maddie on a few design plays after not doing much of that to start the season. Is that something you'd like to get going more of the quarterback run on design plays?
Those options are always there, and sometimes the defense presents that, and I would think the defense presented it more than we presented it.
It looked like you guys also rolled Maddie out a time or two. Is that something you guys can do to try to maybe shore up some of the protection, get him some passing lanes? Is that something that
no, we did that before. That was the only game we ever did it.
What have you seen from Marcus Murphy in his development as a return? Because obviously he had a great game, but have you noticed anything in maybe the way he's reading those seams and reading when he's returning, especially on kickoff?
You know what? You can't coach reading those seams. You can't coach it. Coach Jones, who is in charge of kickoff for 2, will say he coached it, but he's not. He's lying. He doesn't coach it. You know, Marcus was on my radio show last week, and I was just talking about him afterwards with Mike Kelly, and just talking about, you know, the impact this guy's had on our program. You know, had no idea what's going to happen, you know, 5 days later. And he's got his degree, he's getting his master's. He's just had a huge impact here, and he's very gifted. And the neat thing about it is in the kickoff return, he was not touched by anybody. So he'd be the first one to tell you his teammates, you know, get a hat on a hat, so he's got a chance to move in and out. But he can see, he's got great vision. And the guy that's right in front of him, you know, really good running backs, good return guys, they're by this person already. They're looking down there 8 yards more. And, you know, that's just something that's so natural for him. And so he's just a very gifted player, great kid, and huge impact plays. You know, you're in that environment, you start off with a kickoff return for a touchdown. That's a you know, a mammoth momentum play for the whole team.
A lot of good returners kind of come through with, you know, obviously, and then just dynamic playmakers, you know, in the all-purpose search, and look at names like Brad Smith and Jeremy Macklin, and I guess now Marcus Murphy. Do you see any similarities between those three guys with Marcus and Brad?
Yeah, they're all gifted athletes, really are. I mean, that's what they're very gifted. They're in space. They're different. They see things different, feel things different. And again, you don't coach those things.
Is Marcus the best return guy you've ever had?
Well, if I said that, Jeremy would not be real excited with me, and I know you wouldn't tell him anyway. So no, he's really good. You know, I don't rank players because it's very difficult. I know they're both great players.
You know, on the punt return, Marcus mentioned that just the safe return team was out there. Does that make what he did even more impressive, that they weren't necessarily trying to block a big return?
Yeah, we did not have our safe, meaning that we're concerned that they might try a fake punt, so we put our safe out there. And our defense goes out, and we just change the safety for a returner. And yeah, I think sometimes what they have a tendency to do in that situation is you don't get a whole lot of, you know, there's coverage people down. There's not a whole lot of blocking. So a lot of times coverage people, you know, will kind of back off a little bit, thinking, you know, we got all these guys out here. And there's a couple blocks that they hit them on that one a little bit. But there's a couple blocks which you've seen where guys just getting a hat on a hat a little bit, just giving them a chance. And he shot through an area about 8 inches wide, and a bunch of guys collided, and the rest was history. So again, it's just, you know, it's beautiful to watch it, and I'm just glad it happened, you know, for the Missouri Tigers.
After watching the film, any more thoughts on Harold Brantley? I mean, had a sack for the third straight game. I think he got, you know, Driscoll's shoulder on one of the interceptions, and even blocked an extra point at the end.
Oh, well, he had a great game. I mean, you know, I've talked about him earlier. You know, this guy's going to get better and better, and I think it's a glimpse of what he is. I think he's got. I mean, he's still a young guy, and he's got so much potential. And but he's working hard. He's, you know, he's 297, close to 300 now. He's a great athlete. He's got great movement, and it's really neat to see him take that, you know, and for our fans to see him, all these guys taking his game to a different level. And we see that happen to all different players. But it's no question about it. It's a huge impact game for him, and we've seen glimpses of him, of what he can be, and it's exciting.
Was there a time this offseason when you weren't quite sure if he would be out there playing as much? I mean, he had some things he had to kind of deal with.
Yeah, some personal things. You know, a lot of our players have other things they're working with. You know, and we just try to help them along, help them through it, and you know, as they mature, it's neat to see that as as coaches, and you know, it happens all the time in our program. But you know, I'm real proud of him. He's worked real hard, and he's doing well.
Is this about the weight that you'd want him at? Does he lose any of his explosiveness or athleticism at that weight, or?
No, that's where he should be playing at. He returned punts in high school. You know, I mean, we're watching film. I probably mentioned that before. But we're watching this guy return. He's 257 pounds at almost 260 pounds, and he looks good returning them. So it's not like this big blob running out there. There's a guy with, you know, athleticism, and I'm just looking at the other guys in the room. We're looking at this tape, and we're going, "This is not real complex." You know, this guy's really he has a lot of movement ability similar to Sheldon Richardson. You know, they're similar size also. They're just they move. They move like linebackers, but they weigh, you know, close to 300 pounds, and so it's neat to see it.
Why do you think your team has done so well on the road in the past 2 years, and in some ways even more consistently than at home?
Well, that's losing at home is inexcusable. Number one, okay, so that's my responsibility. I think because I think our guys, I don't have the answer about home, okay, so we got to fix that, okay. That's my responsibility, because I think when you take the approach that you don't care who you play or where you play, You focus on playing your best football. You're not walking through the stadium going, "Oh gosh, I've seen this on TV. This is a great place to play it." But man, this is really, you're not into that. You're into playing your best football, and I think our guys recognize that, and so we've been fortunate. It's not easy. You're always proud of your team if you bounce back after a loss. So that was a difficult loss. I just want to reach the potential of this team here, and this game is huge.
There have been some maybe uncharacteristic penalties the last few weeks on offense, delayed games and false starts. As a coaching staff, how do you guys exactly fix that?
Well, the delay of games, it used to be just the quarterback, but now, because of back in the day, when you're under the center most of the time, you just tap the guy with the ball snap. He knows to snap it. Now there's this transition of a play, and the center's not looking at the 40-second clock or 25-second clock. He's not looking at that. The quarterback's looking. He can sit there and want to play, but he can't. So it's all communication. The other thing, we're doing some different things tempo-wise, and I can't discuss that, okay? And it puts more stress on the whole communication thing there. So we got to do a better job coaching it. Okay, it's different than what we've done in the past and the last 2 weeks. And so we got to do a better job coaching it also. That isn't not typical to how we've done it in the tempo that we were using, and without going into any detail. So that's on us a little bit also. So we need to get that fixed up. And so we had 3 of those, and they look bad, and that's my responsibility to do that. We had defensive lineman line off sides once. We had a pass interference, which we had a blocking in the end zone, which the guy returned that one in, and it didn't happen. And so there, I can go through every one of the penalties. So I think we had several that I think we shouldn't have had. And other than that, we've been really good penalty-wise. I know what you're talking about. A week or two ago, we've been 5 or under most every week. And so if you're under there, that's pretty good.
Austin Carter-Samuels, obviously former Vanderbilt guy. What's he brought to your staff this year?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Austin Carter-Samuels.
Yeah, what we don't do is we don't bring them in and start quizzing them down all the stuff they do and not do. He's working in our recruiting department right now, and he wants to coach, and so he's a good young guy and nice to have him around. So a little different for him, obviously different programs, but he was with James Franklin in that a year ago and did a great job.
Wesley Leftwich, is he back?
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, he's back. And I probably should mention him. Yeah, we expect him to play. Again, there's a greater than 50% chance that we think he can play, so that's why we put him back up in the depth. But he's a guy we're going to have to watch. I probably should mention because he was out last week. Yeah.
I mean, was he 100% for that game?
He was not 100. He was nursing it a little bit. He was. It's not unusual. You don't want to pull it, and so he showed a lot of courage. But he was not running the speed that he needs to run, and that's it's good that he wants to be out there and play. But we got to watch that a little bit ourselves too. But we expect him to get stronger and stronger.
Valuable as Christian Brinzer's ability to limit a return game of various teams.
Yeah, and I should mention that too. And I mentioned after the game that Baggett also, Andrew. I mean, his kickoff return and punt returns both. With that player back there, I thought our kicking, game itself was exceptional, but certainly those 2 guys, we had some really good individual efforts in those 2 players, and Brinzer also, that 157-yard punt, we cross-field kicked it. We hadn't done that, and that was technique that you don't see it too often. Usually when a guy goes this side, the ball goes down that side. Now he has the ability to bring it across, and it was he couldn't have done it any better. Created a lot of long fields, offense turned the ball over one time, defense stopped, and so, +5 turnover. But those guys, no question about it. They did an exceptional job of kicking and punting, and the field position component of the game and not allowing big plays was really, really good. A great example of the significance of kicking game. And if you get that on your side, what the impact it can have on your team.
What have you seen from Braylon Webb as the most experienced player in your secondary?
He just plays well. He's a very experienced player. He's a good athlete. He knows the position. He's smart. He could probably coach it back there. With Coach Grinch, he's worked so much back there with all those guys. He's so well respected by his teammates. He's a man of little words, unless he feels comfortable. Then he's a great teammate. But he does his leadership all by example, and it's neat to see him make some plays. And really good player. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.